The month of May explodes in Boston Wrestling MWF. Joining us for the first time in studio will be ECW icon New Jack, Saturday, May the 8th, taping episodes of Wrestling Insiders and a special live episode with the Cyber autograph signing. Then Saturday, May the 22nd, Sunday, May the 23rd, the legendary Demolition Axe, the Masked Superstar, one half of the greatest tag team in WWE history, joins us for 2 days of Wrestling Insider tapings in a live Cyber autograph signing with photos already signed by Demolition Smash. It's going to be a month to remember. Head on over to bostonwrestling.com. Pre-order your 8x10 photos now and help keep wrestling legends working.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Mirade.
And I'm Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
The road to WrestleMania has begun. Wrestling fans are looking to add to their man caves. You got to see what we have in the eBay store.
Check it out.
At WrestleMania 37, she defeated Asuka to become the new Raw Women's Champion, and here is your chance to own a piece of Rhea Ripley on this beautiful limited edition autographed 11x14 poster direct from friends at WWE. Number 50 of only 50 made, includes WWE authentication hologram on the poster itself. Suitable for framing and matting, you'll also receive a bonus Legends autographed 8x10 photo and an on-air thank you on Wrestling Insiders as our thanks for helping keep wrestling legends working. Get this ultra-rare Rhea Ripley autograph poster now.
Cheer. Why, hello. I would ask what was on your mind, but I already know. You want to know what has got my beard looking oh so majestic. And I'll tell you, it's sexy as hell beard care. Coconut oil, vitamin E oil, almond oil, both sweet and bitter, shea butter, it's all natural. Yes, JTG has actually come out with a high quality product. So support your boy by going to sahbeardcare.com and take one step closer to becoming sexy as hell. Cheer. Ooh, cheer. You know?
Boston wrestling sports and the MWF explodes into a new year of unknown with professional wrestling content galore, and we need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after we review the previous night's Monday Night Raw, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with the unpredictable WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights after WWE, NXT, and AEW at 10 p.m., you never know who's going to show up on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll journey through the 80s and 90s on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday nights after the lights go down at the Thunderdome on SmackDown, it's John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. If you want early, ad-free access to all of our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and to help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times, for less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, welcome to another installment of Wrestling Insiders Current Events. I'm Dan Mirade here at MWF Studios in downtown Melrose, Massachusetts. The zip code of champions 02176. I'll be joined by Dave Carter on this fine Tuesday afternoon in mere moments as we review the April the 26th, 2021 edition of WWE Monday Night Raw. But we're trying something new yet again. As many of you know, WWE and AEW TV review shows used to premiere at 9 p.m. but due to the changes in the Dynamite and the NXT TV show time slots, it didn't make much sense to premiere the review shows in the middle of first-run pro wrestling shows. We changed it at 7 p.m. The results were not much to write home about, to be kind, so the goal now is to try and premiere them during quote-unquote drive time to give you something fresh to listen to when you commute home from work, or even while you're at work, depending upon where in the country or even in the world you may be. Also, changing things up just a little bit, Oscars Wrestling Insider's Monday Night Mission is moving to Monday nights, not at 7 before Raw, but at 11 after Raw, to give fans some late-night wrestling talk or something fresh to listen to on Tuesday morning. That way, they're not rushed to get to the computer before Raw goes on the air at 8 p.m. Eastern. We are still planning a blockbuster month of May. Warning you now. Get your calendars out to keep track of all the happenings. Of course, we bring you brand new original content at least twice per day, 7 days per week, other than WWE. Folks, tell me, who gives you that much fresh original content? That statement right there highlights the need for you guys to join the team and to join the family. On Saturday, May the 8th, ECW icon, former 3-time tag team champion New Jack will be joining us for a series of Wrestling Insider tapings, watch-alongs, and live episode featuring a cyber autograph signing. Great chance for you to support the show. Get an autograph collectible that New Jack will sign to you live on the air and give you a shout-out as he's doing it. You can pre-order your photo now at bostonwrestling.com. Barring a cyber act of God, we should be back with another pay-per-view watch-along Sunday night, May the 16th, with WWE's WrestleMania Backlash. Our watch-alongs are always fun, interactive, so load up WWE Network on Peacock or however you do it now in the spring of 2021. We'll have some laughs, and hey, maybe we'll see some good wrestling, right? To me, even bigger, we have a doubleheader, Saturday, May the 22nd, Sunday, May the 23rd. The legendary Demolition Axe, the Masked Superstar, joins us for not 1, but 2 days of historic Wrestling Insider tapings, watch-alongs, and live cyber autograph signings. Demolition Smash signed some photos for us in Tampa, so you can get a beautiful 8x10 autograph photos signed by the greatest tag team in WWE history for your collection. Again, head on over to bostonwrestling.com to pre-order yours now. As we've noted, Wrestle House in Tampa was a lot of fun and productive, but honestly, it was a killer when it comes to our various metrics and numbers for the month of April, and I say that in a negative way. No good, no bueno. If we want to have 5 nights of original talk shows per week, we need you to join the Boston Wrestling MWF family over on Patreon. Not friendship, not fandom, not a fan club. It's an inner circle, a professional wrestling family that where for just a couple of bucks brings you early ad-free access to Wrestling Insiders. Our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library is seen by millions online and millions on The Howard Stern Show. Patreon exclusives, perks, and more, all while helping keep wrestling legends working over on patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Give it a try. We think you'll love it. Again, that's patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Coronavirus has killed the nightlife for many businesses and people like Marty Jannetty and Clance who never stop rocking. That cannot be said for the Boston Wrestling eBay store, which is open 24/7. The Melrose post office is getting tired of my visits, which is a great thing for us because it means we have orderers coming in, and that helps us grow the talk show series during these unprecedented times. We invite you, we implore you to visit the link to the Boston Wrestling eBay store in the description box below. Every order gets an on-air shout-out on Wrestling Insiders from one of our superstars as our thanks to you. If you enjoy our talk shows and all of the hard work we put into it, the gray little $ super chat button under the premier chat box is open for business. Click the button. Don't forget to tip the bartender. We're not getting rich. We're just trying to stay alive and bring you more and more great content. And there are ways to support the cause at no cost to you whatsoever other than a second of your time. Give the video a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for free. If you click the little bell, it gives you notifications when new programming is coming. Let's show YouTube how much you guys are loving what Boston Wrestling does, so they'll showcase our episodes to more and more new fans. Let's be realistic. There are millions upon millions of fans that have no idea we exist, but I continue to believe once they do know we exist, once they find us, especially if they love 80s and 90s themed professional wrestling, my hunch is they're going to love us and they're going to stay with us. Just look at the growth we've had from 2020 to 2021. Those numbers are amazing, as frustrated as I am with the month of April. Last but not least, you can share the links to these great Boston wrestling talk shows online, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Reddit, in wrestling Facebook groups. Send them to popular wrestling websites. Without a giant advertising budget, it makes the job harder, but with the best group of friends and fans in professional wrestling, I have zero doubt long term, we are going to be able to get the job done. And as always, joined by longtime Boston Wrestling MWF associate, Mr. David Carter. Let's try and break down this horrendous installment of Monday Night Raw. I pass the baton to you, sir.
Wow, we're going to be very far off then if you thought it was horrendous.
All right, well.
Wow, starting off with that word. Well, let's go from Raw from April 26, 2021. We kicked it off with the video package of last week from Raw, seeing what happened between Drew and Braun and T-Bar and Mace.
Yeah,
then we get the then we get the match, T-Bar and Mace. Then we get Braun. First we get T-Bar and Mace to come down, and then before Braun ends up coming down, let me say this. You get a promo from T-Bar and Mace tape during while they're walking down. What did you think of the face paint? Did you like that instead of the mask?
No, I just think it makes them less interesting.
All right, so there you go. And then as Drew's warming up backstage, like I guess they call it gorilla or whatever, he's Braun comes over and says, "Are you gonna thank me?" He says, basically, thank you for what? They both basically. Drew goes over his accolades, and then Braun goes over his accolades, saying he was all this stuff, pizzazz, and says, you know what? I'm going to go out there and do it by myself to show you that it can be done. And I love this backstage segment thing. I thought it was pretty cool done. You know what I mean? Because it looked real serious about it. It didn't take a long time, but it was kind of cool. I liked the interaction. And then we got the match, T-Bar Mace versus Braun Strowman. What did you think of it?
I thought it was boring. I thought it was pointless. I thought it sucked. I thought it was uninteresting. I thought it accomplished next to nothing. But other than that, it was pretty good.
You didn't like the interaction between Braun and Drew?
I'm just not interested in it. You know what? I tried to be open-minded, and I know you knew I was not the world's biggest Drew McIntyre fan. I tried to be open-minded about it, but there's just nothing of any interest from him.
Really?
And they've turned Braun Strowman into an idiot. So there's two people I'm not interested in. T-Bar and Mace haven't been over since day one. So there's four people I'm not interested in. You know what I mean? It just kind of snowballs.
See, I like how they finished Raw we'll get to it, obviously, but I like how they finished Raw. So this actually led to something good for me. I liked it. Like I said, Braun was beating the crap out of the match side. Braun was just beating the crap out of T-Bar. Then Mace finally got involved, which was so weird because at first, what was it? Mace was outside the ring watching T-Bar just get his ass, but it was a 2-on-1, so they could fight him the whole time. You know what I mean? But they didn't at first, which was so weird because in a 2-on-1, you don't need a tag, right?
You know what? It kind of the rules in those types of matches, they seem to change depending upon how it suits the need for the booking that week.
Well, because they changed because halfway through the match, they both did finally stop beat on Braun. You know what I mean? So that's why I was wondering. It was weird how they did that.
Well, they tried to be gentlemen at first, and then they said, we're just going to tag team her. It's almost like you with some of your Tinder women.
So from there, they both get involved. They stop beating on Braun so bad that the ref does the stoppage. After that, Drew's music hits. Drew comes out and helps Braun out and says, no, thank you for basically because Braun asked him before, you're going to say thank you to me. So, a little dig at him right there. We go to commercial. Obviously, we know it's going to lead to the match again, which is T-Bar Mace versus Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre. I'll just go through this whole thing, then you can pick it apart. We've seen this match. We've seen it last week in the main event. Feel like if they gave some more info on T-Bar and Mace, because now I think
they need to create a whole T-Bar and Mace backstory.
I just think they need to do something with it to make it more interesting for us. Because you know what? If we're gonna at least get fed this, I know it's not the best, but if we're gonna get fed this, give us some stuff about them. Give us some background information. Give us something. And I
Is
think
not to interrupt you, but is that Australian guy that was part of the group? Is he gone? I don't even remember his name.
Slapjack.
Slapjack, that's right.
I don't
is he
know.
gone?
He wasn't part of those cuts.
But I mean, he's not part of the faction anymore.
Yeah, I don't even know if that faction's anything anymore. That's what I'm saying. So I wish they would give something with it because they're gonna feed it us. Might as well at least do that, but they haven't yet. At the end of the match, T-Bar and Mace win by countout. Braun ends up slamming Drew after the match. So obviously this is going to start a feud between them two now. What did you think of the whole entire segment?
I pretty much summed it up before we got into the general body of the match. I guess there was nothing particularly bad about the work in the ring. It's just it's angles with people that nobody cares about, that they have no investment in, no interest in. What they could have done with Strowman and should have done with Strowman and where Strowman was at one point a few years ago was something very special, and they flushed that down the toilet. I've said it I don't know how many times about Drew McIntyre. I don't even know if it's worth repeating unless we have some new fans listening. As much as I'm not a big Drew McIntyre guy, I was open-minded enough to see if Drew McIntyre was a guy that could be the guy. I would have never had him lose until there were fans live in attendance so they could gauge and get that organic feeling in an arena or a stadium as to how over he is or how not over he is. And they had him lose twice for no reason, headed into WrestleMania, the championship to Randy Orton for, I think it was about 3 weeks last fall. That did nothing. And then they had him lose it to The Miz. Very happy that it went around the waist of Bobby Lashley, who I think is a much more credible athlete.
There, you're not happy.
But as much as I like Bobby, Drew is much younger, and I think has potentially much more long-term the ability to be around the company for longer than Bobby does. So, I would have gone with McIntyre for a while. They chose not to, and I think once you had him lose, not once but twice, I think you took a lot of that shine off of him that they were really starting to build with the way he dominated Brock Lesnar in early 2020. I think that is one of COVID's greatest victims, is the potential long-term career of Drew McIntyre in WWE. Is he a main event guy? Could he have been the face of the company for a few years? Is he someone that they really shouldn't push beyond maybe intercontinental range? I don't know, because they never gave the fans that type of chance to interact with him live in person. And I think they lost it once they started to have him lose. Wins and losses do mean something, despite what some of the quote-unquote experts out there say.
Yeah, I mean, I totally, like I said, I wish they would do something to at least make T-Bar Mace interesting at least, but they don't do anything. They just put it on TV.
I was waiting for Stone Cold to show up last night and cost Strowman the chance to get in the triple threat, but we'll get to that a little later on, I guess.
Right on. Then we see Adam Pearce backstage. Drew comes walking over. Drew says he said in very calm voice, Drew says he wants Braun in a match tonight. Adam says, I can do that. And that was simple, sweet, whatever. At least it's an ongoing thread throughout the night.
Too quick, should have been saved for next week.
Oh, there you
go.
In
my opinion.
Right on. I wouldn't have minded that either, because at least it would have been something to look forward to next week.
They could have built it up for a whole week on social media and little TV commercials on USA Network and on NXT and on SmackDown. Instead, they have to shoot load after load after load. How many times per week does one need to see Drew McIntyre or Braun Strowman or anyone for that?
Oh, exactly. I totally get that. I know what you mean. From there, we come back from commercial. We're in Miz TV. We got Miz Morrison, Elias, and Jackson Reichner in the ring. Miz talks about his hit TV show. They all introduce themselves. They talk about the Bad Bunny selling out his whole world tour in minutes. He should be thankful for the Miz. Miz says they're going to have a concert tonight. Elias says it's going to be great. They're doing the Hey Hey Hop Hop Unplug. They start performing. The lights go out. Damian Priest comes out. Priest says he felt like that's a concert you have to see in person, just like when Bad Bunny beat you at WrestleMania. Then the New Day comes out. Wood is carrying a big guitar case. He puts it on the ring apron, And you know what's in it? Tomatoes. They start throwing tomatoes all over them. This is little kid crap. Not my cup of tea, but I understand why. It was the first hour still. They do it. I don't know. What did you think of that segment?
An interesting, boring, childish. Did
I don't
nothing
know
to get
how-
anyone over.
What I don't get is I don't know how you don't look. I don't care. We don't know enough about him, so I hope you don't just pass judgment on him either. Is how you can't think Jackson Reichner has nothing to offer. That guy is a specimen right now. He's in the best shape, probably one of the best shapes on the roster, and you can't find something that him being a lackey for Elias.
As far as that being a criticism or it being a good thing?
No, like they can't find that. How can't they do anything with him?
They probably remind them of each other. They're two guys that, other than their size, really don't have a heck of a lot going for them.
Yeah, but you know what? Seth Rollins looks like that. Roman Reigns looks like that.
Seth Rollins would blow them to look like the two of them as far as the physical shape they're in.
Facial size. I'm talking about facial. Like they both have the long hair with the beards, and I'm talking that. Know. The size-wise, no. Elias doesn't look like Jackson Reichner. Jackson Reichner is a specimen. He looks like he's in a bodybuilding competition. Did you see him last night?
I just mean Elias is, he's taller than the average 5'10", 5'11" guy. He's thicker than the average type guy, and I think Riker is too.
Well, you're right. But what I'm saying is, how can't you think of anything for this guy other than just sitting there singing on a friggin', I don't know, man. I just look at it and I'm like, I see money on this guy.
From what I've seen of him in TNA, from what I've seen of him in WWE, not much to write home about. I wish they didn't jump the gun so quick and break up that little tag team to see maybe if there was something there going that route. But you know how PC the world is in 2020, 2021.
It's all about giving the right gimmick, though.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That could have been something interesting.
That's the only thing, exactly. And that's why I just looked at him. But anyways, we get to the match. We got Damian Priest, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods versus Miz, Elias, Reichner, and Morrison is on the outside, looking like your favorite ODB again. Did you like how he had his name in the little hairpiece? Did you see that?
Yeah, that was cute.
I thought you would like that. I know he had his ODB hairdo that you like. Good match. It wasn't bad. It was fine. It was good. Lots of action in it. I put in here, Reichner looks fantastic. Woods ends up rolling up Reichner and gets the win. I wish it wasn't him that got the loss, but what are you going to do? That's WWE booking. What did you think of the match?
The match itself wasn't so bad. What took away from it is this Adnan Virk with his awful phony excitement, his phony knowledge of the product that is non-existent. It'd be like having someone that has only ridden a bicycle in their life try and sell cars. I mean, I think it's pathetic and an insult to every wrestler working in the ring, and I think it's an insult to every fan watching the show. I know the new president of WWE, Nick Khan, was his agent at one point, and that's how he wound up with the job. But this is not working. This man, I don't know what value he has in other aspects of media, but it is not in calling pro wrestling sports entertainment matches. He's terrible.
Right on, but that's why I didn't even say anything about it this week, just because we could beat that. We've beaten it so much now.
It's going to be beaten.
You're going to keep on. All
right.
He's
going to ruin my enjoyment of the show that much. Adnan's on the hit list, and we're not talking General Adnan from back in 91.
I hear you. From there, we see Sonya Deville walking backstage. She walks to the back door, lets Charlotte in. They go to commercial. Nothing.
Well, I mean, how excited are you supposed to get about Sonya going in the back door?
Your favorite?
No, she's not my favorite. No explanation as to why she was there. She's never been an executive on Raw before. But
she is now.
Yeah, that's good. Another reason not to want to watch.
And she was on TV a lot last night.
Yes, she sure was.
From there, they come back from commercial. Sonya's in the ring, introduces Charlotte Flair. They introduced the ref, Eddie Arango, I guess his name is.
Eddie Arango, yeah.
Arango. Sonya says you were suspended, but Pierce's actions happened too quick. Sonya says Charlotte paid her fine, and she's going to give her a chance to speak now. She apologizes for everything. The ref accepts her apology. Sonya says the suspension has been lifted and you will have a match tonight. Charlotte interrupts real quick and says, but he said he made a mistake in the match, so he needs to apologize to me. So the ref apologizes. I don't know. What did you think of it? Anything?
Yeah, I thought it pretty much sucked. Sonya isn't exactly Meryl Streep out there when it comes to reciting the lines. And, you know,
I know she kind of seemed a little rough.
Well, in more ways than one. But, you know, I continue to have to hop on it where it's become such a debated issue online. Charlotte, to me, looks like had something done to that face. And I know poor Dave Meltzer got crucified for making a comment on it. But since the night after Raw, when you and I were at the Devil Rays game and you had Raw on your phone, I said, that doesn't look like her. So something had to have been done. And I'm not knocking her. I mean, but the thing is, it is as I said on the podcast we did with Oscar the other night, if it was just, you know, someone at the office, it's nobody's business. But she's a celebrity in a cosmetics business, so to speak, where they're out there basically in their underwear or bathing suits wrestling. So, I mean, her physical appearance is something that is going to be critiqued. I'm not saying it looks bad. I'm not saying it looks good, but she just looks like a different human being. What's that?
She's allowed to do whatever she wants.
She is, but I mean, it's something as a celebrity that's going to be commented on.
I don't know. I like I always say, fuck Dave Meltzer. That guy's an asshole. What he said is stupid. He has no right to say that shit.
I don't think what he said was honestly that bad. Do you?
Because how you are with all the women. That was a fucking low blow, and there's no reason for it. Mind your own goddamn business. She's not happy with the way she looks, so she got. How does he know?
Well, unless he asked her and she said that, yeah, that's a little much. But I mean, other than that, for
he's
him,
a loser. I can't stand him. I honestly, that's one person I hate and would love to see just get out of the wrestling business. I hate him. I can't fucking stand him. He always says something rotten to say about somebody unless it's New Japan wrestlers, and that's it.
Well,
that's
Oscar shot on him last night. I don't know if you had a chance to see
Everybody
that.
Should. That guy sucks. He sucks.
If it's a personal comment he's making about someone, that should be
All
off limits.
All he does is make personal
comments. But as far as
people.
Her physical appearance goes on a wrestling television show, I think that's fair game, not just for Charlotte, but for any of them.
But honestly, is it though? Is it though?
Yes.
What's the big deal? It has nothing to do with wrestling. It's how she wants to look. If her tits get bigger, who cares? What does that have to do with wrestling? He's a wrestling journalist, not a makeover guy.
Well, when Keith Lee exploded around the midsection, was that not something we spoke about?
Wait, what'd you say?
When Keith Lee exploded around the midsection, was that not something we spoke about? How they put him in those awful-looking tights to try and make him look even fatter and embarrass him? That was something that came up over the summer, and I don't think that's any different than women having cosmetic surgery.
Is one thing. Gaining weight is one thing, saying he's a little hefty, to telling us that her whole face, she's not happy when she's subconscious. That's why she got the face made up. Come on.
Well, unless she said that to him, that comment shouldn't have. Unless she actually said that, that's not something that should have been said. But as far as him making a comment on how her face has changed, I think that's fair game.
All he had to do was say what you said.
Okay, well, fair enough then.
What you said wasn't bad. You just said it looks like she had some facial. That's why he said she was subconscious. Dude, who says that?
I mean, remember,
I can't stand
and this is nowhere near as drastic, but remember when they did that to Shaina back in the late 90s?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, she looked like almost a different human being.
What? I wonder what he said then. I would love to go. I wish we'd go back.
I don't know. We'd have to go back, and I'm sure he had a lot to say about that, because that was something that was much more recognizable than whatever Charlotte may or may not have had done. China's whole face.
I'm waiting for the day he goes to one of these fucking podcast convention things that he goes to for Conrad, and he runs into somebody that he just rubbed the wrong way and fucking kicks the shit out of him. I can't stand the guy. I would like to see that guy get injured. I can't stand him. All he does is talk shit. That's all he does. He makes up lies and talks shit about people. He puts it the
He has he or anyone, they don't have any right to talk about what's in someone's heart unless they've actually said it to them.
He makes up lies, talks shit. That's what he does. And he gets paid for it. It's disgusting. But anyways, moving on. We have Pierce backstage, and he's heated. He goes to Sonya and says, "When the hell are you going to tell me about this?" Sonya apologizes and says he might actually accept it if I believed it. So, I don't know. Now they got a little heat. Maybe they'll carry over to SmackDown.
Just what WWE's universe has been waiting for, Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville's power struggle.
Right? But, I didn't like what they did here, because right after that, they go to the commentary table, and then they go backstage again, and Pierce is on the phone. So he's not hot anymore. He's just on the phone. Braun comes over and says, "The match tonight is great, but I never got pinned in that number one contender match. Randy did. So I want to be added to that title match at WrestleMania Backlash if I can beat Drew tonight."
And I'm sorry.
Adam says, "Yeah, we can do that." So there you go.
Every time Braun Strowman said WrestleMania Backlash, I don't know why, but he just sounded so phony and forced. Was it just me?
Because he probably doesn't believe it. It is a stupid name, right? Isn't it? Can we agree on that it's a stupid name?
I think it's a good way to capitalize off of a pay-per-view that nobody cares about. Almost like, and you're probably a little young for this, but after. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, back in the day, they never had to do that. You could have a pay-per-view called Backlash, and it would do great. It would be fine. It would be fun.
Well, like I was just trying to say, I think you're a little young for it, but after WrestleMania 10, to try and boost the house show business, which was hurting at the time, they came up with the WrestleMania Revenge Tour, and it boosted attendance around the country. It did very, very, very well compared to what the house shows were doing at that point. And not only did they rename it WrestleMania Revenge Tour, but they boosted the tickets, I think, about $3 to $4 each. So it was not only did more people go, but it was far more lucrative.
Well, here's my thing with that is no one's going to be attending this, first of all. Second of all,
fair point.
You can watch. How many people, you worked for Comcast before, how many people have Comcast or Xfinity?
How many physical people?
Yeah, like how many?
Subscribe to it? Oh,
yeah.
No, not that many. The first number that came to mind was about 65, 70 million subscribers.
You can have, without them saying us in Backlash, you have 70 million people that can get Peacock for free right now and watch Backlash. What the hell's the difference?
Fair enough. I'll give you that. Maybe.
That's why I hate calling. I just call Backlash. Like, I was telling my buddy the other night, he's like, "Oh, what's the next WWE pay?" I'm like, "Backlash." And he's like, "Oh, really? I remember we went to that. I think it was Worcester. Was in something one year. We went. It was The Rock versus Goldberg or something.
Goldberg, yeah, in 2003.
He knew what I was talking about. I bet if I called him, if I called it WrestleMania Backlash, he'd be like, "What the hell's that?"
Now, I still don't understand this. I have access to WWE Network right now because I subscribe to Comcast.
Right.
Well, see, I got to figure out how to get onto it. I still haven't tried to do it yet, but
you'll be able to do it. You're subscribed. You can get Peacock free. The only thing is you'll have ads with it.
For our watch-alongs, we're going to need the ad-free version, though. Please.
I have that.
Oh, all right. Good. All right, we'll use yours then.
Good. All right. So moving on, we have Sheamus is in the ring for the U.S. Open Challenge. They watched the video of what happened last week to Humberto. Says Humberto doesn't belong in the ring with him. He decided to do it again, offers the challenge to anyone, but the title will not be on the line again. Humberto comes out, Sheamus attacks him and just beats on him. Then finally, Humberto gets on Sheamus and gets some offense in and really starts laying a licking on Sheamus, which I was happy about because maybe this will do something for him. From there, we see Humberto walk up the ramp and just holding his ribs a little bit, but you know what? He's the better man in this feud right here. I like this. Sheamus is irate about what just happened. I'm hoping this goes somewhere where they're going to have a match, get him back on TV. I hope it's not done on Raw. Keep on building this and let's have it at Backlash. That's what I want. WrestleMania Backlash, sorry. Because he needs to be seen. He needs to be on TV. He needs to be used.
I agree with you 110%. I'm very happy to see him being utilized the past 2 weeks. I'm not 100% sure of the age of Mace, but that may have been the first guy on the entire show that was in their 20s. I mean, right. WWE as a whole is an aging roster. You know what I mean? I think that's part of the appeal that goes along with AEW. I think it is a little bit of, granted they have some oldie but goodies in Sting and Big Show and Christian and guys like that. But I think overall, the average full-time guys, it's kind of a younger crew as compared to what's on Raw right now, and I think it's great to see a younger guy like Humberto be utilized. I told you part of last year, I thought one of the better programs they had going before life started to get shut down was that little Hispanic four-way dynamic with Humberto, Mysterio, Angel Garza, and Andrade. And look where the four of them all are right now. But
Absolutely. That's why I was very happy to see this.
And the only thing I hated about it, though, was Adnan, acting like he had any idea who Humberto was. Please.
I'm glad I didn't mention anything about him. I knew you would.
This fucking idiot just sitting there talking. I mean, like I said, it would be like me commenting on NASCAR racing or golf. I mean, I know in NASCAR they go around in circles. I know in golf the goal is to hit the ball in the hole. But other than that, I could not comment on that and act like an expert or try and present it in a way to try and entice people to watch it or invest their time and money in it. And that's what they have this guy doing. It baffles me.
Right on. And I wonder deep down if he's like, what the hell am I doing? I wonder if he thinks like that. What the hell am I doing right now? But we'll never know. From there, we're backstage. MVP and Bobby asked about the change in the title match that could happen. MVP says nothing has happened yet, and they walk off. So it's a way to get them on.
Hot one, yeah.
Right on. We're backstage again. Rhea Ripley's asked about Charlotte being reinstated. She said she's glad she's back, and our paths can cross sooner now. So that was a quick little segment.
Too many promos on this show is something else I wanted to know. Way too many.
Right, a lot of promos. I'm glad they were quick, but a lot of promos. And I'm not a huge promo-heavy guy unless they're done really well and if there's meaningful to them. From there, we get Bobby Lashley and MVP in the ring. Bobby says, I did exactly what I said I was going to do. Walk into WrestleMania and walk out as champion. Drew is like a piece of gum stuck on my shoe. He can't get rid of it. Now that there's a chance it will be a triple threat match, MVP says it's not right and it can't be like that until you discuss it with Bobby. Bobby says he will leave Backlash as WWE champion regardless of what ends up happening. So we get a little promo. At least it leads to something. I mean, it's fine, whatever. I don't know. It seems like everything's repetitive, just in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Just the same kind of story, but done with two different guys on each. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's like reruns. I mean, they just come up with the same lines for different characters and just flip-flop them week by week.
Exactly. I felt like this promo, as much as I love Bobby and MVP, it's like Drew and Braun just talked about it earlier on in the night. It's like, I don't know, man.
The roster is not big enough. The roster is not big enough to fill 3 hours of TV each week, at least, and have it be a good, watchable show. I mean, you know what? There were struggles long before coronavirus even hit, but ever since the virus hit, I don't know whether it's the lack of that live audience to try and put a little bit of life into it as opposed to the canned video game audience that they have pumping through the sound system, but it's been a brutal year to sit through. I feel bad for a lot of the good talent that's just being
They're hiring all these new people. They're hiring all these new people in all different positions, but not in the positions they need to.
Yeah,
they
wrestlers.
Need to hire some creative writers. They need to hire somebody that can write a story, need something like that. No, they hire a new ring announcer. They hire a new fucking Adnog Bark. They hire this Europe guy that's in the back. They hire Megan O'Brien that used to do the Patriots, the one from SmackDown on Friday night. They hire Pat McAfee. But where's the guys that are creative, the creative guys? Hire some of those guys. God damn, man.
I'll say this, you can have a lot of great creative people working for you, but to try and fill 3 hours each week on Raw with such a small, limited roster that they have, it's going to be a challenge for anybody, no matter how good they are. Is it impossible? No. But it's going to run repetitive at some point. My thing is, I don't think anybody should be on TV more than once a week. That would be my challenge and my mandate that I would give to creative. You guys want to be creative? You guys are good? Let's see what you can come up with.
Call my guy. That's all they need to do.
I'm not opposed to that. I've told you that before. I told you how I would utilize Vince Russo and how I think they could utilize him effectively in a way that it would really help. And I've told you in ways that I would not utilize him in ways that he wouldn't help.
Life has been so weird lately. Hopefully that'll be the next step. You know why? It needs to fucking happen. It does.
If they brought him on, like I've said, if they brought him on as a consultant and they gave him the opportunity to just only develop some storylines, develop some angles, and then go from there, I don't think that would be a bad thing at all. I think Russo's biggest problems is he doesn't know how to follow up on what he begins, or it turns into insanity. I mean, right now, what we're dealing with right now is pretty much just boredom and a lack of creativity. Russo, once he gets going, it's almost too over the top and too creative. I think he's great at coming up with unique, different storylines that keeps everybody busy and active, and that's where I'd limit it.
Who writes Raw?
See, this is a crew of 30 people that sit around.
But who's like the main guy? Like Bruce does a lot of SmackDown. Who does Raw?
All I know is that they submit the script events, and it usually gets torn up, sometimes as the show is going on.
All right, because I was just wondering, because SmackDown is so different than Raw, like the watch. It's just unbelievable.
I think we're a little harder on Raw because Raw is 3 hours. I think if Raw was only 2 hours, we'd see a much better show.
But you know why it would be a so much better show? They wouldn't have all these friggin' stupid segments either.
Right.
You know what I mean? I honestly would love my Raw to go back from 9 to 11.
There you go. Now you're talking.
And they go back to the old theme, the very first one, not the... You know which one I'm talking about. With the fire and all that. We're all together now, whatever it's called.
Yeah, Raw is War.
Yeah, that. Imagine that. Oh, I don't know. We're getting off topic. All right. We got Riddle backstage, riding around in a scooter. Says he's riding on cloud 12, not 9.
Good.
He's
Keep him there.
He smushed Orton last week. Randy ends up walking over and tells Riddle to shut up. We have nothing in common, but... You know what? You've earned my respect a little bit. The name you gave us last week as a tag team, RK Bro, is catchy. Let's try it out tonight. I've worked my magic, and I have us a match tonight.
Yeah, I tell you, well, when I think about great tag team names, that's one of the greats I've ever heard of. I actually masturbated 4 times thinking about it. It was so good. RK Bro.
You know what, though? At least it's something, right? Different.
My question is, does he turn on him before, during, or after the pay-per-view?
Right, exactly. Exactly. I honestly thought they were going to hot shot it and do it last night just because you know how WWE is.
Well, they have 2 or 3 tag teams they can wrestle first, I guess, and then they'll do the turn.
There's 3 tag teams. Yeah, exactly. There's 3 tag teams they can do it to. From there, we have Nia, Reggie, and Shaina all bitching about Charlotte getting reinstated. Shaina says enough. No more distraction. Someone ends up bringing Nia flowers. Thinks it was Reggie, but he says it wasn't. Poor Angel. This is Angel. I couldn't believe it was Angel guy. I'm so mad. Angel comes over, and it was him. Then as Nia is walking away, she smashes the flowers into Mandy Rose. They start laughing and walk off. I feel bad for Angel Garza, man. He's another one that just is so talented and just this stupid gimmick. How can the writers look at him and be like, you know what? This guy is great.
Let me book him. Let me book him.
Right?
And I'll get him over in 3 weeks.
There you go.
Jesus. Never mind that. I almost made an inappropriate comment about Nia, but I just wish Nia wasn't on my wrestling TV shows because she doesn't add anything of any interest that I want to see.
Nope. You don't
my
like
hot
her
dog
big
has a first name. It's OSCAR.
You don't like her big leg drop?
No, I don't like anything that she does, except when her match is over. Then I like it.
I didn't think so. So then we're backstage. We have Braun doing arm curls. MVP shows up. MVP says, Bobby doesn't like how you're trying to get in the match. There isn't a damn thing you can do to stop me from winning the WWE Championship, Braun tells MVP.
At WrestleMania Backlash.
At WrestleMania
He loves to say that.
There you go. Quick little segment. I don't know if it was needed or not. At this point, I'm just like, enough of the promos. So, what did you think?
Yeah, enough of the promos.
Right on.
I have seen each one of those people we had seen multiple times at this point.
Right on.
And with
Then we get
still more to come.
Then we get the newly formed Randy Orton Riddle tag team RK Bro versus Cedric and Sheldon. Cedric and Sheldon were getting a lot of offense in on Riddle at first. Finally, Orton gets tagged in and just gets the upper hand. Riddle was, as Randy's ready to do his, keeps on beating him. Riddle's all excited trying to get tagged in. Randy tags him. Randy does the RKO and wins by pinfall. Whatever. I don't know. Good match, but I don't know. I don't really know what to say about this stuff because it's just so no story, nothing driven into it. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, it had no value. I mean, poor Shelton and Cedric were just sent out there to be the lambs to slaughter, which is too bad because I think, again, for all the knocks I have on Riddle with the nonsense, bell to bell, he's very good. Orton, I think, is one of the best in the world and has been for the better part of 20 years now. Shelton, I think, is one of the most underrated athletes that WWE has ever had. I think Cedric is excellent as well. I mean, there's someone you give some time to go out there and work. I know the focus of the story was just to try and get RK Bro over, but I mean, I think that could have been a hell of even better than it was had they given it more time.
Why are they? My other thing was I think about this all the time, and I was thinking about last night. You're forming a tag team with these guys, and you don't have the Viking Raiders on Raw at all, who are a legit tag team that could start a nice feud with somebody, do something with. You don't do anything with. You don't even have them on the show. Why not?
Who?
Huh?
Who?
The Viking Raiders.
They ran out of tag teams. T-Bar and Mace were taken up in the first segment.
But I'm being serious now.
I am too. Who else was there for them to wrestle?
But form something. Do a storyline. Have one of those 38 creative writers you just said. Do something.
Who were they going to send out? Tozawa and the Ninjas?
I don't know. Somebody.
AJ and Omos? They seem to be missing in action now. They gave him the belts and now they're gone. AJ and Omos.
There you go. What the fuck are they doing?
It's just so bad, and I hate to say it, because I love that company. I want to see that company do good. It's just awful.
Where did they go, though? Have you heard anything
I have
about
no
that?
idea. Maybe they're doing vignettes back in Omos' homeland about what turned him into a 7-foot-something-odd giant. I have no idea.
Well, I know the next match was your match of the night. We had Asuka, Naomi, and Lana versus Nia, Shaina, and Rhea Ripley. Decent match. Dana and Mandy come out and throw water on Nia. She starts slipping all over the place. At the end of the match, Nia wins with the big leg drop, pins Lana. Nothing much to write about. We have Dana and Mandy backstage. Sonya says, you guys should be embarrassed of what you did to Nia. Mandy will end up facing...
There was a lot of embarrassment to be passed around on that one.
There you go. Mandy will end up facing Charlotte tonight. So there we go. We get that. I don't think you probably have much to say at all, right?
Way too much Sonya Deville by this point.
There you go.
And I've seen enough of these slip and slides and my whole incidents with Nia Jax to last me a lifetime.
There you go.
And I'll say this. I hope Reginald's saving his paychecks.
He's next, right?
I have a feeling Reginald isn't going to have a long run in WWE. I could be wrong. Maybe they could put him on 205 Live and he could do his acrobatics. I have no idea. But with the way the man is going right now, I'd be saving them paychecks if I was Reginald.
Right on. From there, we get Alexa Funhouse.
Oh.
Lily is her devil on her shoulder. She explains how we all can have a Lily in our lives. Lily the doll starts screaming, time for Lily to play with the rest of the WWE locker room. Lily made me do it is what happened at the end.
That's good. So they've castrated Bray Wyatt in The Fiend to get Lily the doll over.
Wait a minute. Time out. You're going over. They put a doll with more TV time than Omos and AJ Styles or the Viking Raiders. Are you kidding me? How? Why?
There's a lot of innuendos I could probably make, but I'm not going to do that because I only know Alexa Bliss to be a quality person, but you know what? She can only deliver what they're presenting her, and what they're presenting her is just terrible.
How do you see? Okay, let me put this doll on TV, and
It looks something like Reno Chastain.
And and think about it. Oh God, I don't know. I can't even do it, man. I was listening to an interview today with Vince Russo, and he just.
I'm interested. What did Vince Russo think of this garbage?
He didn't talk about this, but he just talks about how if you're the only people that watch this product now are wrestling fans. If you're not a wrestling fan and you turn this program on, you're turning it right off. No casual fans watching this anymore. And he's so right, and it bothers me because I am a true wrestling fan. But I've never, if any of my friends that did like it, that now I consider casual fans, turn it on and say, I can't watch it. It's not the same.
I disagree with him on this one, Dave. I tell you this, I don't think wrestling fans want to watch this at all.
But no, he's saying, meaning just the wrestling fan is only watching this. There's no casual fans watching. He's not saying all wrestling fans. He's just saying the only 1.5 million, 2 million people that are watching it are just true wrestling fans. They're not casual fans.
You've got to be die hard to be able to sit through 3 hours of Raw, or you have to have a show like ours where we're forced to review it.
He used right there,
I got you. Okay, that makes sense then.
That was the word he used.
Because
they're diehard fans.
I can think
there's nothing wrong with that, but he doesn't understand how WWE doesn't see anything wrong with it. That there's still, but he said he also understands why are they going to care about ratings when they're getting $1 billion contracts from all different TV people.
That's the thing. And you know what? I also look at that on the flip side. He's 110% right. Look at the money they got from Fox. Look at the money they got from USA. Look at the added money they have that just came on from Peacock. But imagine what those numbers would look like in 2021 if the ratings were good and there was a general interest in the product overall. It would be amazing what would be coming in.
I'm telling you, if you gave him a chance and try it, I think you would have a lot more agreeable with him than you think you would.
Well, like I said, I've told you I think Vince Russo would be valuable in 2021 to any wrestling organization. I've told you how I would use him and where I would limit it to.
And then he gets into the AEW.
What is he, out of curiosity, what does he think of AEW?
He thinks, he makes fun of Tony Khan. He said Tony Khan's worse than Dixie Carter. He said Tony Khan is just literally, he says Tony Khan's literally just a big fan. That's all he is. He has no business running a wrestling company. It's the truth. I don't think so either. AEW hasn't impressed me at all since it's been on TV.
Well, my AEW comment. Again, it's almost like Raw and other certain shows. With AEW, there's usually 1 or 2 really good matches or segments per week, and then the rest of it, I don't understand why it's on TV.
But we could do that. I could do that. You know what I'm saying? We could put on 2 good matches, the rest be shit. I don't know. I agree with so much that he says, and I hate it because I'm such a passionate wrestling fan that I'll never stop watching, but I agree with what he says. Because I look at my friends that used to love it like me, that are now would be considered a casual fan that don't even watch it because they just said it's not watchable anymore.
Yeah, and especially I'll say this, where TNT is trying to launch another primetime show with AEW. Why not give Russo a chance to at least be a consultant and see if he can come up with an interesting idea that is different than what they're doing right now? What's the worst that's going to happen? If it fails, you just fire him. That's all. What's that?
And that's the thing is the way I look at it is how many writers are there left that were from back then that actually made some noise in the industry? You're not going to get Kevin Sullivan ever again. He's too old. The only other guy was Vince Russo and Ed Ferrara. They made a noise in the wrestling industry back in the 90s that actually did something. Why not give them a shot? I don't get it.
Well, I mean, Ed, he wasn't the most well-versed in it, but Russo, I would, like I said, I whether you're talking AEW, Impact, Ring of Honor, WWE's, any of their brands, there's no reason why that guy shouldn't be. At least give him a 90-day consultation contract.
The way I look at it is you gave Eric Bischoff a shot, and then you canned him because it didn't work out. Give Vince Russo the same shot.
That's what I just said a few minutes ago. What's the worst that's going to happen? Okay, it doesn't work out and you part ways.
Right. I just think I don't know, man. I just think about the whole picture with everything, and it's like what he says makes so much sense because I have proven fact that my friends that I used to love watching with doesn't even watch. The guy that I used to go to Monday Night Raw every single week and watch, he doesn't even watch anymore, and that's why we don't do it anymore because he doesn't watch it. He said it's not watchable. He doesn't enjoy it. You know,
the co-owner of this Boston wrestling organization can barely sit through it.
See, so there you go.
So,
all right, back on topic again.
Back on Raw.
We get Charlotte Flair versus Mandy with
let's
Dana
go
Brooke.
back to the other thing.
It was a match. Charlotte getting on the ref for not doing the 3 count because the ref is the Eddie Ringo. What do you call it? Ref again? The guy that was up early in the show. Charlotte ends up getting the win by pinfall. You know, quick match, easy, nothing. I don't know, nothing really right about. We got Drew walking backstage, asked about the match night. He said he's not happy about it being with Braun. If he wins he's in the match meaning the title match at WrestleMania Backlash. There you go, Dan. So quick little thing.
Yeah, it's his 84th promo of the night, but it was pretty good.
There you go. We get the match. Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman. We know the stipulation. If Braun wins, he's going to be added to the title match at WrestleMania Backlash against Bobby Lashley. During the match, Bobby Lashley and MVP come out, and they stand on top of the ramp and watch it. Really good match. Hard-hitting, back and forth. At the end of the match, Bobby Lashley and MVP get involved, which caused Drew to get the upper hand. Then T-Bar and Mace come out and attack attack Drew, which gets Braun to do the power slam. Braun wins and heads to WrestleMania Backlash. So I mean, all I'm gonna say is if this actually leads to Braun winning the title at Backlash, I'll be very happy. But if
really, you'd like to? You think out of anybody on the Raw roster, Braun should be the champ?
He's the most believable character.
To me, it's Bobby, but we disagree. That's fine.
But Bobby, because Bobby hides behind friggin' 2 other guys now.
Well, he's a heel.
Right.
He could be a baby face, and
I don't know. He has T-Bar and Mace. That's the way I look at it. Is I don't know. You know, you already have this character with Roman on SmackDown. Shouldn't the brands be different?
What do you mean? Should the brands be different?
Like different writing. Like they basically have the champions the same.
Oh, I see what you mean.
They're both heels.
Well, I have to say,
hide behind people.
The one thing, I don't know if you saw my episodes that we did with Oscar and then another with Cena Sr. about WrestleMania 37, but I think one of the few things that they've done right coming out of WrestleMania were the champions. So that's one dynamic I wouldn't mess with.
So you like having 2 heel champions with the same dynamic?
Yes.
See, I think you need to have different because that's just the same as having the same guys on the same shows. I feel like it's just the same exact show I'm watching, except one's 1 hour less, but the champions are the same. Because you literally have MVP, Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley, you have Jey Uso, you have T-Bar and Mace now with them.
But we don't know that for sure.
All right, well.
No one really knows what T-Bar and Mace are truly up to or what their true intentions may be.
Let me say this. They've helped Bobby Lashley twice now and MVP twice in 2 weeks. So we'll see. Maybe you're right. Maybe they don't have nothing to do it. But I'm just saying, I think Braun...
Maybe they're going to surprise everybody and turn on Lashley next week.
Or maybe Braun ends up, joining the Hurt Business, right?
That'd be... who knows? There's so many mindless possibilities that they could throw out there.
And that's the thing is they're mindless. So it's like, it's mindless. But I graded the Raw. I gave it a 4 out of 10.
Wow. All right.
I thought it was like I said, there was a few things I liked. Mostly was bad, but it wasn't as bad as last week when I gave it a 2 out of 10. That's why when you said it was horrendous, I didn't go that far because it was better. It wasn't awful. It was bad. It was boring. It was a bad Raw. It was bad. That was, boring. One of the 2 words, fine. So I gave it a 4 out of 10. What did you give it?
Not too far off. I mean, I gave it a 3 out of 10.
There you
I
go.
just thought there was, out of every storyline they tried to progress, there was nothing of any interest on there. You have Viking Raiders, what are their names?
Viking Raiders.
Viking Raiders. And you know my personal attachment there. And, you know, they're back after 2 weeks of their big return. They're not on the show. And then you have the tag team champions. They're still missing in action. And, you know, Ricochet is someone I'd like to see more of, as opposed to seeing 19 Drew McIntyre vignettes, 17 Braun Strowman vignettes, 8 Bobby Lashley promos. It's too much. And I'm not all that interested in it. Now you get Sonya Deville that's going to be all over the show. I mean, you talk about bootleg. I mean, if I'm Triple H and I'm looking about all this talent I'm cultivating down at NXT, where is any of it that's making an impact right now? I guess you're still thinking or you hung up? Dave, I'm going to guess we lost you.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello,
no,
I'm
there
still
you
here.
are, Dave. Yes, I was going to call you back.
Oh, yeah, I'm here. I was trying to answer your question. And I'm
No.
like,
Well, now I can hear you.
all right, no, what I was going to say is you're totally right. I mean, there are guys in NXT, you know what, like you said, if Cross, get him up, do something. Because remember I was saying there was no chance of Kyle O'Reilly winning the title. You know what? Right now is better than ever if they need some more guys to actually fill some more time to actually do something with. Maybe he's a guy that could help the roster out because, goddamn, man, this is getting ridiculous.
They need an infusion of new talent, not releasing talent.
Right, exactly.
If I were them, just to try and freshen things up, I'd bring back everyone they fired last year. And I don't even know who's available off the top of my head, but at least it would freshen the shows up.
I wish they could bring back EC3. That'd be my number one, man. That guy is.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just. You must have seen him lately, what he looks like, and just, I don't know. It just blows my mind how someone didn't look at him
And the same can be said for Andrade, the two of them. I would have been pushing them as top heels, one for each show.
I'm waiting for him to show up at a Ring of Honor. I watch it every week. I'm waiting. I'm hoping he will. That's what the rumors was, that he was that Andrade was going to show up at Ring of Honor.
That was going to be his destination? That's interesting.
Right now, yeah. That's what they were saying. I wouldn't mind that. I love Ring of Honor. I know you don't know anything about it, but I love it. I think it's a really good watch.
Well, you know what? If they're willing to make Andrade happy and put some money in his pocket, why not? I know I'd love to have him here in Boston Wrestling MWF as we celebrate our 20th anniversary this November, Saturday, November the 13th. Save the date as we go back to the 80s for WrestleFest and celebrate 20 years of the MWF in the squared circle. We'll knock on wood. It just seems like with some of the announcements made earlier today about masks and such that maybe Santa Claus, there is a hope we're going to have that big night in Melrose.
Oh, we will. We will. I can feel it.
All right. Well, is there anything more to add to the disaster that was Monday Night Raw?
Nothing else. No new news. Other than, like I said, I was reading that they are picking some destinations where they're going to have SummerSlam. So hopefully we'll be able to attend that during the summer. That'll be something to look forward to. I guess they're saying Phoenix, Texas, and what was the third one? I can't remember. Do you remember what it was? Phoenix, Texas?
I didn't hear anything about them, to be honest.
Oh, Phoenix.
I got to get
Phoenix.
my scoops.
Yeah, I was reading that.
I love Phoenix. Texas would be kind of hot.
It's really nice over there. You told me Phoenix was pretty nice, so yeah, that'd be cool.
I think temperature-wise, I think we do better in Phoenix, even though very hot. It's kind of a dry area compared to Texas. Texas, I think we'd die, but it remains to be seen.
Right on.
Sometimes something's better than nothing. I'll tell you this though. You know, now have they released the date yet for SummerSlam or no?
No. It just says SummerSlam 2021 destination is what I read. They didn't have no date yet.
I got you. Well, maybe that would be a way to, instead of doing 2 flights, maybe we could do another Wrestle House. Pop back into that mansion in Tampa we were in, because tomorrow, I know the fans are excited. Tonight at 10 p.m., we're going to have Wrestling Insider at Your House Classics with Tony Atlas, where we look back at episode 2 of the series. But premiering tomorrow night at 10 p.m., Dave, I'm telling you, Wrestling Insider Special Edition from Wrestle House in Tampa, the series premiere of the Sinister Minister James Mitchell.
I was going to ask you that. I was wondering when you were going to premiere. That's awesome. I'll definitely be checking that out. That was good. I'll let all you know now is I was there. He had a lot to say, and it was really good stuff. I definitely be watching that when it premieres tomorrow night.
The first segment of the first show was a little rough around the edges. I know Glantz was doing things that Glantz do. Is the mystery man. We have this mystery person that comes into the studio that's a big JTG fan. His name is Justin. And even though it's 70 degrees, he's hidden under a hood with a mask on. So I don't know what to think of that. But that remains to be seen. You can't trust anybody in this studio. But, yeah, so the James Mitchell episode, once it gets going, especially the second half of the episode, I don't know what we did during the commercial break, but at that point, the audio was fantastic, and I thought it was a really good interview. James talks about, being a fan as a kid, how he broke into wrestling, working for Jim Cornette and Smoky Mountain. So it's a really great way to introduce Jim Mitchell to the Boston Wrestling team, I should say, and a really cool way to kick off our Wrestle House footage.
Absolutely. I thought it was great. I think everybody will enjoy it for sure.
And on top of the Wrestle House footage coming your way, we've noted we'd like to do it again, as long as the footage comes out as good as the second half of the first episode tomorrow night did. But think of the luminaries we have coming to this fine studio in the month of May. It's going to be a huge day. Justin went out, he said, and he bought 4 Sharpies down at CVS this afternoon so he could get 8x10 photos signed. He's that excited about it. Saturday, May the 8th, the ACW icon himself is going to be here. You talk about wild and unpredictable. This one could be right up there with anything we ever did with the Sheik, potentially.
Yes, sir. I can't wait. I think it's going to be off the hook for sure. I think
for the live episode, we're going to need you to at least co-host it because I'm going to be so busy running around trying to do the social media things computer to computer. But
we'll be there. I'll be there. I'll try to. My thing is he going to be drinking?
I have no idea. We didn't discuss it yet, believe it or not.
Well, if he is, it's going to. Folks, tune in regardless because it's going to be crazy. If you know New Jack, he's going to be crazy. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good watch. Buy your autographs. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait for May 8th because I grew up watching New Jack, so it's going to be fun.
And the best part is, Dave, if it's a success, he's going to become a regular. We've already discussed it.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Less than a handful of miles away from where the coolest incident took place.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
What about May 22nd and 23rd?
Well, before we even get there, you got to talk about live Sunday night, May the 16th, the pay-per-view watch-along party for WrestleMania Backlash.
Yes,
Justin said he's going to order a pizza from Domino's. He's so excited.
Oh, I love it.
I don't know about Dave, though. Dave is excited too. Yeah, he doesn't even realize this, but tomorrow night, he's going to be a very rich man. Did you know that, Dave?
No, I didn't.
Well, you're in. No, not you. The Dave, the intern here in the studio. He is going to be tomorrow night when he leaves this building, a very rich man. But we're going to have to. I don't want to reveal my secrets yet on the podcast, but he's going to be in for. He's going to have a Wednesday to remember. A Wednesday to remember. So, all right, Dave. So we got the plug in for the live watch along for May 16th, and then let's volley back to the doubleheader we have coming up. Please.
Yes, May 22nd and 23rd. You have Axe from Demolition coming in, which I'm very excited about because we had Smash at Wrestle House. Now we'll be able to see Axe for the first time for me. That is, I'm very excited about that as well.
2 days of historic Wrestling Insider tapings. We're going to do a couple of watch-alongs of famous Demolition matches for our Patreon fans. And Smash signed some of those great 8x10 photos that are available on BostonWrestling.com now. Axe will be able to sign them. He'll give you a shout-out on the air live as we do it. It's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. It's going to be a big month in May. And then, like I said, we're trying to figure out the logistics to get back to Wrestle House in Tampa. But it's up to Justin. It depends on how many Sharpies he bought, I guess.
Oh, boy.
All right, so we're running out of time on this one, Dave. As I noted in the beginning of the show, if you missed it, we are trying to change the time of the review shows to be more drive time friendly, so to speak. 7 p.m. didn't appear to be the time, so we're going to try and get these on when people are coming home from work or maybe still at work and looking for something to listen to. And we're changing Oscar's Weekly Wrestling Insider Monday Night Mission podcast from 7 to 11. So instead of it airing before Raw, it's going to premiere right after Raw goes off the air, and we think that'll be more viewer-friendly as well. So some changes happening. Check out the schedule online. For my partner in crime, Mr. Carter, I'm Dan Mirade. We will see you at 10 o'clock tonight with the Hall of Famer, Mr. USA Tony Atlas, as he discusses the Hulk Hogan he knew in the 1980s, Hulk Hogan's racism scandal, wrestlers' pay, and so much more. And then again, you and I will be back tomorrow afternoon to discuss WWE NXT.
Yes, sir.
All right, folks, you and yours be well. We'll see you at 10 with Tony Atlas. The World Wrestling Federation was live at the Philadelphia Spectrum in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Saturday, April the 27th, 1985. In the opening contest, the British Bulldogs battled the Hart Foundation to a time-limit draw in the two teams' very first match. Tito Santana and David Sammartino beat WWF Intercontinental Champion Greg the Hammer Valentine and Brutus Beefcake. Rowdy Roddy Piper and Cowboy Bob Orton with the win over S.D. Jones and George Wells. Mike Rotundo and Barry Windham defeated WWF Tag Team Champions Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik in a non-title match. Superfly Jimmy Snuka and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat victorious over Charlie Fulton and Moondog Spot. WWF World Champion Hulk Hogan retained the title over Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Jimmy Snuka won a $50,000 Tag Team Battle Royal. If you were in Philadelphia live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the link in the description box to keep Wrestling Legends working in our eBay store and on our acclaimed Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston wrestling sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.